going on, Jeromes? A beautiful day for some Q&A. Let's fire it up. First up, Lord of the Rings, Lord Master MJ. Nailed it. With the logjam at defensive line, could you see Flores play two line options in the 3-4, where line 1 is Allen Phillips Hargrave, line 2 is TID Taki LDR? I think this would be a good situation to keep the veterans fresh while giving the young guys reps, all while keeping the scheme the same, just with different personnel. Soccer and hockey teams do this, yada yada. Good question. I feel like you could see some form of this. Maybe not just like two line options, but I feel like the personnel in even and odd will be different. Like Allen and Hargrave, so they've traditionally been 3-techs, but in the Vikings base, they'll be asked to play 5-tech spots. Not necessarily their bag, but also you look at Redmond, you look at TID. His time in Georgia, they played a lot of 5-tech. Taki played, Taki's on the nose. Phillips on the nose could also play 5-tech. LDR is more of a 3-tech, so it could be more situational and opponent dependent week to week. Like, hey, this week we're going to play a 4-2. This week, we're going to play a 3-4. This week, we're going to play a 4-3. This week, we're going to do a lot of different things. So I love it. I love that the Vikings and Flores have this creativity and personnel to be able to employ multiple defensive linemen all over the place, especially depth. I mean, there's alien abductions every single year, but also keeping Allen and Hargrave fresher later in games, later in the season. I mean, this all adds up. Plus, developing guys like TID, LDR, Jalen Redmond, Elijah Williams, Travis Bell. Be good, man. A Super Cyan Rucker. How long until we draft or trade for an elite running back? Do you think it's possible we get one at the deadline? I'm not sure if, the elite running back is in Kwesi's DNA, because from an analytics perspective, the whole running back, blah, 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 don't draft one high, blah, blah, blah. I feel like the pendulum has swung a little bit. But also, given his draft history, like Kwesi's only drafted a running back, was a Ty Chandler 5th round, 2022, Dwayne McBride 7th round 2 years ago. So, I mean, that's it. And also, you look at in the past, like Dalvin was a 2nd round pick. You look at Adrian, number 7 overall. You go all the way back to like Bill Brown. You know what I mean? But overall, like Jeremiah Love, I feel like he could be that guy. Like he could be a lot of fun. And the Vikings were in a weird spot because they didn't have a ton of draft picks to start, but this was a deep-ass running back class, and they didn't even really partake of this class with undrafted because, I mean, Trey Stewart wasn't on a lot of people's radar, but Kwesi, he did extend Aaron Jones, signed him in the first place, signed him to a pretty lucrative 2-year deal, did trade for and sign Jordan Mason, who could be seen as great value. So I feel like both of them are on 2-year deals. This running back room could be completely turned over within 3 seasons, but we'll see. I think Jordan Mason is young enough where he could have some staying power for the next couple of years. Jones probably plays out these next 2 years and calls it a career, but overall, like, do I see the Vikings just going running back at a certain point? I mean, maybe. I guess never say never, especially since this roster is deep. There isn't a ton of holes to fill, and it does seem like running back would be a luxury. Absolute luxury, but would be kind of cool. I mean, get us our version of Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson and then split carries with him. I don't know. Something like that. Next, Chase Essex. When Addison goes on suspension, who do you think will take most of his reps? My jelly beans are on Speedy. So I think it will be like 50% Speedy, and the rest sort of it takes a village. Like I think Naylor will take up a lot of the reps, as evidence from his time last year. Also, important to note, like Addison is probably facing suspension first 3 games of the year. I know that Kevin O'Connell has really downplayed Justin Jefferson's minor hamstring strain, but what if he's slowed the first couple games of the year as well, right? He's out there, but what if he's not 100%? You know what I mean? And also the lack of reps with JJ to JJ. Who knows? But also, guys like Rondale Moore, Ty Felton, Lucky Jackson, Jashawn Jones could be in that mix. But also, I think the Vikings could lean more on 2 tight end sets with Oliver and Hockenson. That makes the most sense. Aaron Jones out of the backfield. So the Vikings will be fine. A combination of Naylor and everyone else. It'll take the entire community. All right. Speaking of Naylor, Brighton Jorgensen. What does Speedy need to do this year to potentially get an extension and maybe get Addison traded next offseason? The the trade Addison train is always in town, right? And I talk about trading Addison because the Vikings may not be able to afford his second contract, as well as he may want to go somewhere to be a wide receiver one and get paid like a wide receiver one. And Speedy, I feel like if Speedy shows up and shows out while Addison is out, and maybe numbers wise, puts up 40 for 650 and 5 or something like that, somewhere in there, where it's not a high end contract extension unless he gets paid just massively overpaid in free agency somewhere else. But I could see a world where they bring back Speedy. I mean, they brought back KJ, so I could see like a similar situation to that, and it'd be good. It'd be good. I believe in Naylor, man. Add a good size, still got that speed. Let's go do some damage, man. Speaking of wide receivers, so we got a lot of these questions. So first off, the Titans injury waived Treylon Burks. He broke his collarbone. So once he clears waivers, which I'm sure that he will, he'll end up on season-ending IR. But the question will be next year, Treylon Burks, taking a shot on him. Should the Vikings sign Treylon Burks, 6'3", 225 receiver and 2022 18th overall pick? I think a few names Vikings get during cuts could be Deuce Vaughn, Noah Fant. I wouldn't mind adding Deuce Vaughn. I loved him at Kansas State, man. Plus that draft video, because his pops was in the personnel department with the Cowboys. He's like, hey buddy, you want to come to work with me? Ow, 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 ow. But Burks, I don't know. I know that Kwesi is the mama I can change him type guy, but that was just a bad draft pick. And the Titans are a bad team, and AJ basically punting on AJ Brown. And the stat I love is that AJ Brown has more Super Bowl appearances than Treylon Burks has receiving touchdowns. That's rough. That's rough, man. And I know physical tools should be there, but it just hasn't been there. And I don't know if it's mental toughness. I don't know if it's just injuries. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know if it's a combination of everything, man. But it just hasn't worked out, right? And he'll go on season-ending IR, or he might be released with injury settlement because collarbone should be okay, in mid-season or so. But nah. That said, the Vikings did sign Michael Floyd and Josh Doxson, so they're not above taking chances. Yeah, it could be fine. I mean, this could be like N'Keal Harry last year. Could be good. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Let us know. Q&A. It's a beautiful day. You guys are the best you know what to do. Skull production value.